Good evening. You're watching GRTS and welcome to the news. Ahead in this edition, a representative of the United Nations Population Fund in the Gambia presents his letters of credence to the Foreign Affairs Minister. The University of the Gambia launches its first master's degree program in law. A Zimbabwean national builds a homemade helicopter, earning a name for himself. And Tanzanian president launches an electronic passport service to fast-track the process of acquiring passport. These and more coming ahead in this bulletin. I am Jaina Banyang presenting. The newly appointed country representative for the United Nations Population Fund in the Gambia on Friday morning presented his credentials to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Usainu Dabo. The letters mark an important point in relations between the UNFPA and the government of the Gambia. Seydou Kamara has more in this report.
The newly appointed United Nations Population Fund country representative has visited the Foreign Minister this morning to present his credential. The new country UNFPA representative said it is significant to meet the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and he commended the Gambia government for providing conducive environment for the UN body.
The minister highlighted the government realization that health of young people and women is very key to any development. He even said that the Gambia has most of its population as young people, and that those are the engine of the growth that Gambia seeks to achieve. What we will do is to continue to make sure that every woman, that is 50% of our population or 51%, we want to reduce the deaths and ultimately to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals of zero maternal deaths.
UNFPA country director explained some of his organization plan of action in the country.
The UNFPA is engendering its commitment to the government and the people of the Gambia that we've been here for 44 years or 45 years, but we've been working in different capacities with majority of leadership from outside the country. The Gambia, especially the new government, wanted UNFPA to be fully present here to support its development aspirations and goals, especially regarding maternal health, sexual and reproductive health of young people, and issues around gender.
Foreign Affairs Minister Usainu Dabo acknowledges the efforts of the United Nations Population Fund, particularly in the reduction of maternal deaths in the country.
We very much appreciate independence that you have mentioned, and we are in partnership in ensuring that the women, the youths of this country get the better of it. I mean, the youths are they are our biggest assets. You may have minerals of all sorts. You may have oil in abundance, but once the human resources are not properly managed, are not properly directed, are not properly educated, then your endowment with all those resources will become meaningless.
Because UNFPA officials noted that no woman should die while giving birth, as women are very important in every community. He assured their office continuous support to the government of the Gambia in achieving its development objectives. Seydou Kamara, GRTS News.
The Faculty of Law of the University of the Gambia has launched a new LLB Master's Degree program. The first batch of students were this morning oriented at a ceremony witnessed by legal luminaries who shared their experience with the new students. Aissatou Keita reports.
The University of the Gambia's Faculty of Law has finally launched its double LM Master's program. The major development raising the standard of the law program is the latest addition to the university's course of study.
We have not been able to have a core of trained lawyers who would be willing to stay on the campus as full-time faculty member. But with this program now, it gives an opportunity to train our own graduate, to move them to the higher level, to the master's level, so they'll be qualified to be enroll or to be recruited as fully fledged instructors or lecturers on the ground.
Justice Awaba is the president of the Gambia Court of Appeal.
Before the inception of the law faculty and the UTG as a whole, Gambian students had no option than to go beyond our shores in pursuit of higher education, myself included. Today we thank God the Almighty that the option to be homegrown is available especially for the legal fraternity with the further establishment of the Law School of the Gambia.
Ibadan University Professor Adeni Olatunbosu highlighted the impact of the LLM Masters Program and advised students entering the course to take full advantage of the program.
Education is very important, and that everybody should aspire to acquire higher education in their various fields and disciplines. And law is also an area in which lawyers, seasoned lawyers and practitioners can also key and acquire more knowledge in academic research work for the purpose of human capacity development and also for the advancement of legal education, legal practice and legal development in the Gambia.
A full-time LLM Masters program at the UTG and students aspiring to study law have the complete package available at the home front to become successful legal experts. For GRTS News, I am Aissatou Keita.
The Ministry of Health has validated a climate change policy designed to integrate climate change into the national health policy. We have more details from Aminata Sanyang, who witnessed the ceremony.
The mainstreaming of climate change in the healthcare sector is one of the latest schemes being implemented at the Health and Social Welfare Ministry to drive sustainability. At this validation ceremony, officials used the occasion to emphasize the need to pay specialized attention to the environment and changing weather conditions in the national development spectrum.
Climate change is an impediment to health improvements in many parts of the world. It affects population health through climate-induced economic dislocation and environmental decline, as well as through development setbacks incurred by damage to critical public health infrastructure and to livelihoods by extreme weather events.
The idea here is to particularly address the effects and impact of health policies on climate change, to draw a considered plan that fuses health and disaster response intervention mechanisms.
While the weather can change in minutes or hours, identifying a change in climate has required observations over a time period of decades to centuries or longer. So climate change encompasses both increase and decrease in temperature, as well as shifts in precipitation, changing risk of certain types of severe weather events, and changes to other features of the climate system.
The launch of the new validated document creates an essential tool for the health sector, according to climate experts. Bubu Pati Jallo, Chief Technical Advisor at the Climate Change Early Warming Project under the Department of Water Resources, said the scheme is strategic to emergency response efforts spurred by unpredictable weather conditions.
The health sector is a sector that receives impacts from climate change in both directions, primary impacts and secondary impacts. Any impacts on water, agriculture, fisheries, and so on will also impact health sector. So impacts on other sectors will impact on health. Then health also receives direct impacts from climate change, direct impacts.
Natural disasters certainly undermine the policy's health-creating crisis situations that have constantly led to more complex conditions. Aware of this emergent reality, officials are moving to put climate change at the fore of intervention programs to strengthen the nation's well-being. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Aminata Sanyang.
The public is hereby informed that the Chief Justice, Justice Hassan B. Jallo, will embark on a nationwide tour to visit judicial institutions and facilities from Monday the 5th of February to Friday the 9th of February 2018. He will hold meetings with members of district tribunals and other stakeholders within the administration of justice in the Gambia, and will also visit the West Coast region on the 5th of February 2018, Lower River region on the 6th, the Central River on the 7th, Upper River region on the 8th, and the North Bank region on the 9th of February 2018. The Chief Justice will be accompanied by Honorable Justice Raymond C. Sock, the Judicial Secretary, Principal Registrar, Court of Appeal, Assistant Secretary, and Senior Estate Officer. During the tour, he will appoint and administer the oath of office for the Justices of Peace in each region. Members of the civil society group under the umbrella organization of Tango has raised concerns over what it calls the human rights abuse and disregard to the rule of law by the government. Seni Marina has details.
Following Dr. Ismail Sisso's invitation for questioning by police over newspaper comments made on the state of country's security, more than 20 civil society groups under the Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, Tango, have issued a statement expressing concern about the freedom of expression and human rights in the Gambia. Dr. Sisse, a political science lecturer at the University of the Gambia, has since been released and charges against him dropped, but local civil society groups are threatening to sue the government over his questioning by the police. At a press conference at Tango head office in Fajara, civil society leaders said the invitation and subsequent questioning of Dr. Sisse by the police for a comment in a newspaper is a cause of concern after 22 years of repression, during which freedom of expression, association and assembly were severely curtailed. John Charles Njai is the chairman of the Tango Board of Directors.
As civil society is to stand in defense of Gambia. We owe no obligation to any individual, to any political party. We stand for the development and the good of this nation.
Freedom of expression is one of the foundations of democracy and good governance. It's one of the tools that empower citizens to hold their leaders, their governments to account.
Section 25(1)(a) of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia guarantees the right to freedom of speech and expression, which shall include freedom of the press and other media. Subsection B guarantees the freedom of thought, conscience, belief, and belief, which shall include academic freedom.
Issues of freedom of expression are issues of our rights. They are not issues of politics.
The news conference, characterized by a lively session, availed journalists the opportunity to ask questions on key issues, including the role of civil society in guiding the new dispensation and whether they have not already failed Gambians during the previous government for being overly silent over serious human rights violations.
Are you going to apologize to Gambians for also giving us Yahya Jammeh for not speaking up, so that Gambians can have confidence in the work you are doing?
We have failed miserably in standing up for justice. Civil society has even failed in standing for its own members. And that we have no excuse. And honestly, all of civil society, Tango in particular, owes this country an apology, and our citizens. And as chairman of Tango, I would openly say that we are sorry to Gambia.
Members of the civil society have resolved to strengthen unity and solidarity among themselves in order to protect the freedom and democracy that Gambians decided on December 1st, 2016. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Seni M.K. Marina.
Following the amendment of Section 194 of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, the Independent Electoral Commission wishes to inform the general public that it will conduct councillors elections for the 120 wards across the country. The elections, which will be conducted on 2 separate dates, are scheduled for Thursday, the 12th of April 2018, and the mayor, mayoress, or chairperson will be held on Saturday, the 12th of May 2018. The decision was arrived at in consultation with the political parties, the primary stakeholders of the Commission. The Sir Farimang Singate Foundation on Thursday presented hospital materials to the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital and the furniture to St. Augustine Senior Secondary School. The foundation, named after the late first Gambian governor of the Gambia, is set up to maintain the legacy of the late governor and also as a philanthropic organization for the general welfare of the Gambian people. Isai Jallo reports.
At a ceremony in Kanifing, the Sir Fariman Singate Foundation members presented 2 floor hoods, ward and theatre clothing, blood sample collection materials, among others, to Mamadou Lamin Jame, PRO of the hospital. Usman Singate, a grandchild of the late governor, explained the objective of the foundation and its philanthropic activities.
We just sit down and say we're going to form some kind of a foundation where we will give something back to the society and, you know, try and teach people more about where all this come from and who our grandfather was, so his name can be known just not as a politician but as somebody who was giving a lot back to society. And that's where all this foundation came about. So the gifts are not just for medicals, but we want to cover everything that we can do to give something back to the society.
In response, the hospital PRO, Mamadou Lamin Jame, thanked the foundation and said their intervention was patriotic and timely, adding that the materials would help the hospital.
The items we are about to receive today are mainly laboratory products, and I will be very much delighted to have them in our labs. And I've seen the hood. The hood is for flow of or controlling of microbial flow in rooms. And this machine here controls the flow of microorganisms in the room. And I think we will be very much delighted to receive them and put them in our lab.
Similar assortment of materials was donated to Sintet Village. At St. Augustine Senior Secondary School, the foundation presented chairs and tables to the school and pledged to fix their basketball court with modern facilities. Madam Fatou Singate, secretary and wife of the founder for the Singate, presented the materials to the principal, Father Bruno Tupan. Receiving the items, Father Bruno Tupan thanked the foundation members and Gambians abroad for looking back to their community.
We can only say thank you. Thank you to the foundation, and we pray that this relationship that has begun between St. Augustine's and this new foundation, I call it new because it's only 1 year old, that it will mount to higher heights, that it will be a strong relationship cemented, and we trust that you will continue to support us like you have pledged. And we too, on our part, we want to assure you that we will continue to make good use of these materials that you have received, the furniture.
The occasion was attended by Mustafa Fai, Seni Marong, and other members of the foundation. Isa Jallo for GRTS News.
And we will take our first commercial break now. The sports news is up next when we return.
My name is William Abraham. I'm the president of Real Debanyu Football Club in the Gambia. I'm currently in the Senegambia area. I use the Real Africell 4G SIM card because it has the widest coverage and the fastest speed. I will now show you why I always use Africell. I have 2 phones in my hands and they both completely the same. This is my phone from Africell with the Real 4G SIM card, and this phone has another 4G from another network. In a moment I'm going to do a speed test and I will show you the result. Wow, what a big difference. I'm getting full coverage from the Africell 4G SIM card with a speed test of 57.08, and I'm getting less than half from another network, 16.7. This is the proof to show that Africell's 4G is the real 4G with the widest coverage and the fastest speed. By far the fastest.
Hurry and go replace your Africell SIM cards with the real 4G SIM card.
Where Africell goes,
no one has the speed to follow.
Former English Premier League footballer J. Lloyd Samuel has advised players of the Gambia Armed Forces to be determined and focused as they prepare for the CAF Champions League adventure. The ex-Aston Villa defender was addressing the Khaki Boys during a visit to their training ground. More in this report.
Reigning champions Gambia Armed Forces are busy preparing for their first leg encounter against Zanaco Football Club of Zambia in the preliminary round of qualifiers for the group stages of the CAF Club Champions League. The Gambia Armed Forces and Hawks Football Club will be representing the Gambia in the Continental Club competition, with the Turkey Boys involved in the Champions League, whilst the Red Devils will be taking part in the CAF Confederations Cup. But the two sides will first play the qualifiers before they can get into the lucrative group stages, which no Gambian club has been able to achieve in the past. The Gambian champions will be expected to fly out of Banjul next week Wednesday from Lusaka, Zambia, to face Zanaco Football Club in the first leg. And ahead of the crunch encounter, Coach Ibujara is intensifying training as he tries to assemble a strong squad to face the East Africans.
The spirit is high. We've been training very hard, working very hard. Today, as you can see, we have a special coach in Lai Bojang, and this is all part of the build-up. So it's a national issue now when it comes to going to play in the CAF Champions League qualifiers. So yes, we are getting ready for the CAF Champions League.
Most of these armed forces players will be making a first appearance in the continent's flagship club football competition, and the Turkey Boys are excited to have got the chance to showcase their potentials on the big stage, and they are looking forward to the challenge. With the necessary support coming from the Armed Forces High Command, the team has also been receiving massive boosts from other areas. Coach Abdullah Bojang of Steve Biko, who also doubles as the coach of the country's under-17 women's football team, has been around to offer a helping hand to his counterpart in the tactical preparations. But the biggest boost came from J. Samuel, former Aston Villa and Bolton defender, who visited the team's training ground. The former Premier League player, who along with former Liverpool and England international Emil Heskey were in the country for a week-long visit, was accompanied by Colonel Musa Jame.
The CDS said he wants them to come and see you, talk to you, inspire you. So they are here. They will have more time to talk to you, and even if time permits, they'll be able to help you in one or two other ways.
You've got a great opportunity. You should be proud of yourselves of what you've achieved, but there's a lot more to come. And football's not just going to be given to you on a plate. You have to work hard. And even when someone's working, you need to work harder than the next man. And from yourselves, we're going to obviously come here. We're going to try and help you guys as much as we can, but you've got to want to help yourselves. As in being on time for things, putting in that extra work and believing in yourself.
The former Trinidad and Tobago international, who has had a successful career playing at the top level in the English Premier League, is no stranger to big occasions like the one lying ahead of these young players. And the tough tackling ex-defender had these few words of advice for the Turkey Boys.
You've got to try to relax, not too much, be excited, but be confident. And if you go in there confident and believe in how you've got there, then you'll be fine. But then if you're putting too much pressure on yourself, you won't. Don't let the occasion get bigger than you. Rise to that.
Having the opportunity to meet the former Premier League star was a joyous moment for the players. There could not have been a better way to psych these armed forces players or to inspire these armed forces players ahead of their crunch encounter than meeting a legendary player in the passing of J. Samuel, who has had an amazing career in the English Premier League with Aston Villa and Bolton Wanderers. And this meeting will surely inspire these young players ahead of their crunch encounter against Zanaco Football Club of Zambia in the first leg of the preliminary round of qualifiers for the CAF Champions League. Mohamed Jallo, GRTS Sports, at the Armed Forces Training Ground.
And do stay with us for the next break. When we return, we will take a look at news from outside the Gambia. Welcome back. Zimbabwean-born Henrik Chibanga has built a helicopter from scratch. Although it has never taken off and is viewed as a possible death trap, the chopper, as many call it, is drawing attention from the community around Chibanga. Here is Julie Sher with more.
He dreamed of flying as a young boy. Now inventor Henrik Chibanga has taken matters into his own hands. Dubbed by his friends as the helicopter man, Hendrik built this model from scrap material in his backyard.
I started with the helicopter after I fell in love with the helicopters. When I built it, I used recycled material. Some of them I used to buy it in the scrap yards. So I spent 8 months to complete this helicopter. One day I see the South African Army helicopter passing on top of me, so it attracted me, so I decided to design the one to display in my room.
But helicopters are not the only models this enterprising Zimbabwean has built.
I was calling myself an artist, but now it seems like I'm an engineer, because I create something that amazing and something look like a real thing. I fell in love with the police vehicles. It attracts me. Then I write it away. That one are the vehicles that the police uses when they in the Department of Helicopters.
As for the future, Hendrik plans to continue building from scrap new pieces and succeed against all odds.
For now, the helicopter is my best creation, my invention. So I'm looking to bring more beautiful creations than these ones.
Hendrik Shabanga is a true artist at heart. His inventions may not put food on the table, but he has earned the respect and admiration of his whole community. Julie Shire, CGTN, Hammaskral, South Africa.
In Tanzania, President John Magufuli has launched electronic passports. Ministry officials say the launch will be followed by online visa application services. The new system aims to fast-track the process of acquiring passports and remove unnecessary immigration bureaucracy. CGTN's Daniel Kijo has more.
One of the most important documents for Tanzanians just got upgraded. The launch of the electronic passport gives the digitized documents more details than ever before. This is part of the government's efforts to provide a better service and to improve national security, revenue collection, and control illegal immigrants. The president says it's time the country got more patriotic.
I ask you, my fellow Tanzanians, when we get these passports, to protect it dearly, as there are reports that people sell the passports and claim that it's lost. It's now time to love Tanzania.
The new system is costing the government $57.8 million, but it promises to improve efficiency and stop corruption, something the Tanzania's Home Affairs Minister says will benefit the country.
As a ministry, this stage will help us to fix any previous mistakes. If there were any passports given through unlawful means, now we have a chance to do it properly.
Citizens looking to get the new travel document will be charged $70, and it will be valid for 10 years. The old passport will still be in use until 2020. But the head of the Tanzanian Immigration Commission says the transition will be smooth.
They don't have to be pressurized with the new system, but also because our system is much better than the one we had before, so we can also facilitate easily and smoothly for those who want to apply new passport.
The president, his wife, and a few ministers were the first to get the new e-passports. And Tanzania is not alone. Similar documents will be issued to citizens in the East African countries as agreed by the heads of states in the region. The government says the new passports are made with high technology and that they meet the latest global security standards for a changing world. Now what is left is to roll them out to the millions waiting. Daniel Kijo, CGTN, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
And now to end the news, the main points once again. A representative of the United Nations Population Fund in the Gambia has presented his letters of credence to the Foreign Affairs Minister Hussein Dabo. The University of the Gambia has launched its first master's degree program in law. A Zimbabwean national has built a homemade helicopter, earning a name for himself. And Tanzanian president has launched an electronic passport service to fast-track the process of acquiring passports. And that brings us to the end of the news. We will be back at 10 for another bulletin. We hope you'll be able to join us.